Alright guys, first thing I want you to do is log into your Facebook page, go to settings, and confirm your identity. This is so that when you want to run political type ads on Facebook in the future, you are already confirmed. This process takes about a week, so if you do it now before you even start setting up your page, Facebook's going to mail you a confirmation of your address so that you're all set up in the future. Next thing we're going to do now is go over and actually create the page that you're going to be using for either your political organization or campaign. So, community or public figure, and let's get started. Put in the page name. For this, we're just going to be calling it Democrats Test. And obviously, under category, this is going to be either a politician or political organization. Now we're quickly going to upload a profile picture. For a political organization, this should be your logo, or for a political campaign, this should be your headshot. So if we go into our branding suite here, you can see we have a nice PNG of our logo here, which we'll upload. And I usually skip the cover photo in this because I do it manually in the next step. So here we go, add a cover photo, upload from photos. And we have our branding suite here, which we go into, and we have a nice gradient background. And make sure you set that, crop it, and align it correctly so that it looks good when people load up your page. Next, we're going to look at creating a specific username for your page. Now, this should try to be the same for all of your different social profiles. Twitter, you have a 15 character limit, so try to keep it down. Michelle for CT, for instance, would be a great one if you're running for a Senate campaign. Now, we're not going to invite friends yet. That's a little bit too early. So now we're going to take a look at the tabs that are active. One of the worst things you can do is have inactive tabs that people are clicking through, only to find that you haven't populated it. So let's go into settings, and then over templates and tabs. And you'll see right now, by default, we're using the politicians template, and that's fine. So we're going to go down, and we're going to take out a couple that we haven't populated. And to be honest, most people don't end up using. So issues, let's turn that off. Endorsements, let's also turn that off. And then finally, we're going to go down to notes and turn that off as well. And if you want to add up any of these tabs back in the future, you can obviously go down to the bottom, add tab, and those are the options that you have to select from. So now that you've done that, let's go into your general settings, and there are some specific settings we want you to turn on or off. So tagging ability, we want others to be able to tag photos that you upload. So say if you take a picture of somebody who has their friend in it, they can tag them in it, and now you're going to get more views and more engagement for the post that you create. Next one is going to be page updates. This can be really annoying. What it does is it will automatically create a post when you just update anything in your page, say like a cover photo or a headshot, and you really don't want that going on, especially if you're doing some page maintenance, so we turn that off. Next, go into messaging. We prompt people to send message. That way a little pop-up box will appear when people load up their page on a computer and trying to start communication. And then we definitely want you to turn on questions so that we're trying to start people interacting with your page. And we recommend 2, are you available to chat, and how can I get involved? And again, this is trying to drive people to engage with the campaign. So let's delete the other 2 questions, which are not necessary right now. Save that, and we're going to move on down to response assistant. And so what this does is when somebody messages your campaign, they'll have an instant reply, even if nobody's logged in currently, which is usually the case. So we're going to personalize that. So after hi, let's put in the person's first name so they're being responded to personally. And you can see Grammarly right there is popping up, telling me that I have an issue. So let's remove that extra space. And you can also customize the rest of that message if you'd like. Click save, and now we're going to head over to page info. Now this is really important. You should fill out most of this page, but some things are obviously not required. You can see favorite books or favorite movies. Those things are irrelevant, and they won't show up if you don't fill them in, so don't worry about it. But then the one that's super important, which we're going to do right now and make sure that everybody does, is set up your location. This is really going to help when it comes to metadata, people finding your site and engaging with it, and allows location tags. So let's put in the correct information there and save those changes. Now we are going over to page roles. Now, especially if this is a campaign organization, you usually have more than one person editing it. So I'm going to add my partner, Jen Leeper, and I'm going to make sure she's an admin so that she has the ability to do everything that I do. Obviously, it's going to ask you to confirm that. And then after that, we're going to go and link our Instagram account. So log in, and because we've already created it, which I'll show you guys in a minute, we have a Instagram account. We're using the same, again, email, which we set up previously so that everybody knows what the password and login information is. And once you connect these two accounts, it means that you can respond to direct messages from either account. You can create ads from both accounts, and you can also publish stories instantly onto your Facebook stories and Instagram from the same linked account. Now finally, we're going to go back to your main page, and there are 3 last things we want you to do. See right up there at the top, you can add a short page description, which will tell people what this page is about and why it exists. You can populate your page with a couple of posts. And finally, the last thing you're going to want to do is invite friends. When you invite friends, you don't want to invite anybody to a blank page, so make sure you put some content on there first. Then you can click over to the right there, and you can either invite people individually or in bulk. And I advise you do that with all of the people who are admins on your page. And that's really the basics of setting up Facebook.